Good afternoon, Bobcats. Today is Tuesday, February the 27th, and tonight's homework help is a little bit different because it is on our Common Assessment Focus homework. So all of tonight's homework is based on how you are performing on your Common Assessment skills. Okay, so this is just a reminder if you're planning on using a homework pass that the entire packet is worth 5 homework passes, or you can use one homework pass per skill. But the reason why I assign this homework is because these are skills that we needed more practice on. So although you can use a homework pass, it's not necessarily going to give you the help that you are needing. So what I'm doing is I picked one question from each skill for tonight's homework, and I am just going through and picking random questions. We're going to go through and I will walk you through how to do one question from each skill. We're going to start with question number 7, which is real world fractions. Jerry is working on a project that needs to be halfway completed by Friday. So far, she has completed 1/5 of the project. How much of the project does she have to finish by Friday? Okay, so you're going to have to think a little bit on this question. We're trying to find out what is half of the project. First of all, she needs to have half of the project completed by Friday. Right now, she has 1/5 of the entire project completed. So what we're looking for is what is half of 1/5 is what we're looking for. What's half of 1/5? Okay, so if you have 1/5, there's not a fraction that we can come up with that will give us half of 5. So we need to turn 1/5 into an equivalent fraction that we could figure out half of it. So let's think of an equivalent fraction that is half of 1/5. Now I always tell you guys that when you're trying to find an equivalent fraction, always multiply by 2. So 5 times 2 is 10 and 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/5 is equal to 2/10. So far she has 2/10 of this project completed. That's the same thing as 1/5, but now we can figure out what half of this 10 is going to be. Because remember that the denominator tells you the total. Okay, so let's figure out what would be half of this 10. Well, half of the 10 would be 5/10. That's what would be half. If you had 10 tenths would be a whole. So half of that 10/10 would be 5/10. So this is the goal that she's trying to get to by Friday. She's trying to get to 5/10. Right now she has completed 2/10. So how many more tenths does she need? If she's at 2/10, how many more tenths does she need to get to 5/10? She needs 3/10 because 5/10 minus 2/10 is 3/10. So there is your help with real world fractions. All right, well, let's turn it on over to question number 13, which would be on the next page. Question number 13 is a multiplying decimals. Okay, now right off the bat, I can count how many decimal places. I'm going to have 4 numbers behind my decimal. So that's just a key that you might want to remember. So let's line these up. 2 and 12 hundredths times 46 hundredths. It is not necessary for me to put that 0 right here. That's not going to do anything for my number. All right, 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 times 2 is 12 again. Okay, mark these numbers out so you know not to use them again and put that automatic 0. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. Then we add these numbers. 2, 7 plus 8 is 15. 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7, And 1 plus 8 is 9. 9752. Okay, there were 4 places behind the decimal, so there need to be 1, 2, 3, 4 places behind this decimal. Now, honestly, you really could have just looked over here and you would have already known the answer because only one of these had 4 numbers behind the decimal. So that could have saved you some time. But I did walk you through how to solve that. So your answer is going to be D. Okay, moving right along, we're going to flip on over to question number 18 for adding and subtracting fractions. Simplify the following expression. Okay, so you have 1/8 plus 3/16. What would be the common denominator for 8 and 16? Well, I always tell you guys, look for the larger denominator first, which is 16. Will the other number go into it? Does 8 go into 16? It does, so that means that 16 is the common denominator. Now, if the other number, the smaller denominator, does not go into the larger denominator, then you want to look into doing the birthday cake method to finding your common denominator. Okay, so 8 times 2 is 16 and 1 times 2 is 2. Since the denominator stayed the same here, the numerator stays the same here. And our sign here tells us we're adding them. So 2 plus 3 is 5 over 16, and you cannot simplify, let me write it where you can see it, you cannot simplify 5/16, and that correct answer is B. All right. So that was adding and subtracting fractions. Next question is number 19, which is numerical expressions. Okay, so which of the following is true about the expression above? Now, guys, what does this subtraction symbol mean? It means you're taking away 60, okay? So this answer right here is going to be 60 greater than the entire answer. Or the entire answer is going to be 60 less than what's in parentheses because you're taking 60 away. Now, this one says the given expression is 60 times more. So when it says given expression, that means the total answer. Is the total answer 60 times more? Well, 60 times more means you'd be multiplying 60. Are we multiplying 60? No. Okay, this one says the given expression is 60 less than what's in parentheses. Is the entire answer going to be 60 less than that? Yes, because you're taking 60 away. Now, just to go through the rest of them, this says the entire expression is 60 times as large. So times as large means that you would be multiplying. Are we multiplying this times 60? No. And then D says the given expression is 1/60. So 1/60 means you'd be 160. Remember that fractions just means that you're dividing. That means you'd be dividing by 60. We're not dividing. So your answer will be B. Okay, moving on to the last question is number patterns. Okay, so just remember that when we make our table, because I told you guys on number patterns to make a table, that X always comes before Y just like it does in the alphabet. Except for we don't have X and Y, we have W and X. So we're going to change whatever is on the top is going to be W, whatever is on the bottom would be X, but we may not even end up needing this table for this one. Let's read the directions and find out which of the following sentences describes the relationship between the corresponding terms in the two patterns. Okay, so if you made this table, you were starting at 16 and you had to add 4 each time. We probably won't even need this. It's fine. Well, we'll use it. 16, this one starts at 8. Okay. Now, you're supposed to add 4 each time. So 16 plus 4 would be 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. 24 plus 4 is 28. We'll stop right there. Okay. If you start at 8 and you have to add 4 each time. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Okay, so let's kind of look at the relationship that we have between W and X. W is greater than the X. How many times greater? Well, if I did 8 times 2 that would give me 16? Let's look here. Would 12 times 2 give me 12? Or give me 20? No. So let's try, what if we subtracted a number? If we were at 16, what would I have to subtract to get to 8? 16 minus 8 would give me 8. What about 20? If I have 20 and I take 8 away, what would that give me? 20 minus 8 is 12. Okay. What about 24 minus 8? Yep, that's minus 8. 28 minus 8 would give you 20. So it looks like our rule is that W is 8 more than X. So let's see if we see anything like that. Or you could also say that X is 8 less than W. The terms in pattern X are 8 less than the corresponding terms in W. So is this number 8 less than that number? Yes, so we've already found our answer. Let's kind of go through these. W is 2 times X is 8 times 2, or I'm sorry, is X, is the rule that X times 2 would give you W? No, that only worked for the first one. What about, is W 8 less than X? Is 16 8 less than X? No, or than 8? No. D says the terms in pattern X are 2 times the corresponding terms in pattern W. Is X 2 times greater than W? No. These are less than anyway. So your correct answer is A. And I just kind of went through that because I want to make sure that you're understanding how we came up with that answer. Okay, guys. Hopefully you were able to test out of several of these questions. I know a lot of you guys had time in class, and unfortunately some of us weren't using our time wisely. But hopefully you can get through these pretty quickly. If you have any questions or need any help, you can go to Homework Help in the Morning. This is strictly for you to practice on things that you need extra help with. So, yeah, go to Homework Help if you need it, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I hope this video helped.